Hey everybody, FlashForge released a new FlashPrint version which looks very different in December. So if you have installed the FlashPrint 5, this is just a quick walkthrough of some of the features and where to find the things that you may be used to. For you're a new user, this will help as well. So the first thing when you come in, it's going to ask you what machine type you have. The one we have for our class is an Adventurer 3 Lite, so you just need to choose the Adventurer 3 series. And then tell it OK. Oh, it looks like I get an ad. How nice. Once I close that out, the next thing I need to do, you'll notice that the platform is square. That'll be a good indicator that it matches the printer that you have by looking at the size and shape of the print bed that shows up in the box. We need to then add our model, so you can see here up at the top, it's going to look for model files. I don't have any that I've previously selected, but all I need to do is click on the little add model and find the model on my computer. It's going to, mine asked me for permission to access it. I'm going to go ahead and allow that. And here when it comes in, sometimes when you bring in a model, it finds something it doesn't like about it. If it asks you about repairing a model, I'd go ahead and tell it to go ahead and repair it. It's taking care of it, and you can now see I have the MakerBot robot here on my screen ready to print, and I can kind of take a look around at that and see what I think. There are tools now that show up that you didn't see before on the right hand side. The first one is to move your model, and you can move it. A lot of times what I check first is to make sure that my model is on the platform. You'd notice if it was not on the platform correctly. If I kind of look around here right now, I've got it floating. You can also see if I move it outside of the print area, I get a red box that says kind of a warning like, hey, this is not where it needs to be. I can say, hey, move that back onto the platform, and it's going to place it. I can also center something if I'd like it to be right in the center of the platform for printing purposes. But sometimes it's nice to be able to move a model around, especially if you're trying to, in a classroom, print multiple things, and you want to kind of adjust them and move them around as you bring the files in so that you can get maybe multiple print jobs to print at once on your device. There's also the ability to rotate something. I like to not do it by hand, but just use 90-degree turns to sometimes get something to fit better. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to undo. I'm actually going to bring it all the way back around. So you can move it on the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Sometimes by flipping a model or turning it around, you can get it to print better, especially if you're having any trouble with your printing. You can also scale your model. So let's say you went to print this and it told you it was going to take 6 hours to print, and you go, gosh, I really need that to be smaller or print faster. I'm just doing a prototype or a model. You can scale something down or scale it larger. I like to make sure that this uniform scaling is set so that if I change something, if I change one of these to 75%, you can see here it's going to automatically adjust the others as well to get it ready for printing. So I can change that around, keep it the same, and adjust and scale that model. There is the option to cut something, so if you wanted to like cut it and have it in multiple parts, you'd be able to do that with this tool. There's a duplicate option, and you can go ahead and say, let's say I wanted 2 or 3 or 4. If you have something that you want multiple models of, and this is something new that people have been asking for in FlashPrint, you used to have to upload another model of it, the STL file, keep importing it to get multiples of the same thing. This will allow you to just, when I have all the settings the way I want it, just duplicate it. So if I wanted 2 or 3 of these, I could say, okay, add 3 more, and it automatically will take care of that and add them onto my platform. I'm going to come out here and go ahead and remove the ones that I no longer want, so I don't have those extras on my platform. I'm going to reselect this one. The auto layout all is if you want to have a specific amount of space between your things, and it will auto layout everything on your print bed to maximize your space. You also sometimes will want supports on a model, so if there are places you can see here like on his arm where that might be difficult to print without supports, or it might fall down, you can use different types of supports. There are tree-like supports and linear supports. It's really a preference. I prefer the linear supports in that they are easier to break off and tear out. The tree-like supports are a little sturdier, beefier as you're in there, but and it's helpful if you have like kind of an irregular surface. You can see it's telling you that here, and less filament consumption. But these the linear supports kind of generate a structure that's really easy to kind of pull out if you've got a large area that you're supporting in there. You can pick your overhead. I don't often do all of these, but I'll often do ones that are just ones that touch the platform, maybe not within an object, because I don't want to clean all of that out. And you can decide that as you want to. So you can add or remove things manually. So even if you put them in, I most of the time I just do auto supports and let it figure out where's the best place to put this. Where does the software think that I might need some supports on this model? And if I do that now, you can see it's thinking, oh, all of these different spaces might need a little supports. Wherever you're seeing that light blue, it has filled in some supports because it felt those were necessary. I can clear those back out. If I said, hey, touch the platform, I'm only going to get those ones here underneath the arms, places where there's a little bit of an overhang. I'm going to go ahead and clear those supports as well, because this said it did not need supports in order to print properly when I got the file. So I'm going to go ahead back out of there. Some of the other things, MultiMachine Control, you're probably not going to be using this wiping tower, probably also not using that. But when you're ready, you're going to click this Connect Machine and find your machine. And you can do an automatic scan for whatever's on your network. I'm not near my printer right now, so nothing's going to show up. You can put in the specific IP address for your machine. If you'd like to do that, you just need to make sure your machine is connected to the internet. One of the things that I did notice on our school network is that our staff network is our MAC addresses of any devices need to be placed onto the into the radius before it'll allow connection, so that private address needs to be in there. There is no way to find on this printer model the MAC address, the Wi-Fi MAC address for the printer. And so the best way that we found to do that is actually we connected the printer to our guest network. That was able, then once it was connected, our network person was able to find that Wi-Fi MAC address for the device, which doesn't change as you go from network to network. And by put that into our radius, and then we were able to connect to our staff network, which allowed us to securely print just from my teacher computer without having to switch over to the student network to find the address of the printer and connect to that printer wirelessly. You can also just download, you can start the slicing process, download the file once you've got it, put it on a thumb drive and stick that in your printer as well. When I'm ready to print, I'm going to say start slicing. It's going to let me change things. Normally I don't mess with any of these settings here except for to decide. It'll tell me how long this is going to take. So at standard mode, this will take about
first 2 hours. I can switch to fast mode if I want to print kind of more quickly and I don't need really any high quality print, and fine would be for if you wanted something to print a lot more high quality as you were going through here. So you can see here if I hit slice, it will go through slice the model for me. It's going to tell me several things. I can look at the preview. It's going to tell me, hey, this is going to take about 1.5 hours to print. It's going to use about this much material. And I can look at all of those different layers. So here it's going to take 76 steps. The kids really like to see this as you go through and look at those different layers. It's here now under layers. You can actually see how this is going to print as it lays down layer after layer, all of those different layers to get to the final, so 106 layers, 76 steps to finish that print job. And if you're happy with it, again, you can save it to your local disk and put it on a thumb drive and install it, or you can send it directly to the printer if you're connected via Wi-Fi. But those are the basics for FlashPrint 5. I hope that you will have lots of enjoyment printing and look forward to hearing more from everyone about how their first prints go.